Hello everyone! Today, we will do something new and interesting. We'll use a ComfyUI workflow like this one, collaborating with an AI automation tool called n8n. n8n is a company that developed this open source tool to handle automation tasks, especially creating different automations for different industries. You can use it to replace most tedious work you can think of. For example, you might have some IT operational tasks, marketing tasks, sales tasks, or even design work. You can use n8n to create a workflow, just like in ComfyUI, and build a workflow simply like this to automate all those tasks step by step. As you can see, this workflow is very simple. All the buttons here are self-explanatory, and I think it's even better than ComfyUI for layout design. Some of the features are even more completely developed, and their structure is even better because they have enterprise and non-enterprise solutions for corporate or personal use. So, we're going to try n8n in the GitHub repository here that you can download and run locally on your machine, just like a personal use tool for your automations. Now in n8n, installation is a little different than ComfyUI. They have a more complete one-package solution. What you need to do is go to Docker, clone that image repository, and run it with just these 2 lines of command prompts. Basically, you can search for n8n in another way by going to the Docker desktop. So in the Docker desktop, as you can see, I've already installed and have the container for n8n. Also, previously, I had my Open Web UI running language models and Vision language models locally. Now, if you want to install n8n, the easiest way is through Docker. You type the search in the search bar, type n8n, and that will appear in the image repo here. You can just click the latest version and click Pull to pull the image from the Docker repo and download the whole project into your local system. After you've completed the download, it will show the image of that repo located here, which means the n8n is live right now in Docker. But after you've downloaded it, it won't show this green dot indicating it's in use. At that moment, you'll need another second command line, which is the docker run command. You'll name the n8n instance for the container and specify the port numbers for the container to run. By default, the port numbers are 5678. This is the port number for this, and then it will specifically specify the image, the Docker image, for running this container, which is n8io, and also the n8n data for storage of your own custom data. Everything is going to be stored locally in your Docker repositories, safely on your system. So, when you run that second command line, it will show up in your Docker desktop container, which is really easy. All you need to do for the next step is wait for the successful running up message in the terminal, where you can type that command line. You will see the green dot here, along with the available port numbers and the link. Click this link, and it will redirect you to open up your web browser. You'll see this interface after registering your personal account. You'll see this interface of the n8n dashboard right here. This is a new, fresh n8n that I've just installed and tested out with you guys. Previously, I had some other workflows that work for AI automations using n8n AI agents and collaborating with other language models. So in this tutorial, I want to show how we can use different tools that can work together, collaborating in one workflow as a whole. This isn't just about focusing on creating one image or one video only in ComfyUI. Take a bigger picture look at the whole system. To develop these 2 features in ComfyUI, just treat them as one of the features in your whole workflow system for automations. When you think of this mindset, then you can implement n8n very easily. Otherwise, you might think, oh, I can do the whole task of video creation in ComfyUI. So why do I need these n8n AI tools for AI automations? So let's dive into something we need to set up. Basic setup for n8n connecting with ComfyUI first. Now, first, you will need credentials. This is the ComfyUI account, which connects with different API here. As you can see, I have the host Docker internal. This is going to be for your localhost URL. But since we are using the Docker image repo, we're going to use the host Docker internal as the localhost URL and put the same port numbers that you have in ComfyUI. By default, all our ComfyUI instances are running with 8188 as the port number. Once you have this, you can click Save, and it will try one time to connect with that host URL. You have to click the Save button, this orange button on top. Once you click Save, it will tell you that you have a connection successfully tested and this one is ready to use. The second thing we need is Olema running locally to do inferencing if you have a language model or vision language model to run with. Again, we have the same localhost URL, but this time it's changed specifically for Docker to go inside our localhost URL. This is the specific link for Docker to use, and then we are going to use our host port number of Olema. So check your Olema which port numbers you're using before you proceed. I have a tutorial from way back about how to install Olema. You guys can check that out. So, in the Olema command prompt window, once you start Olema serve, you will see the information here. As I just said, the localhost and the localhost IP numbers are replaced by the Docker internal link. We are going to find out the port numbers of your localhost, which will show here, listening on your localhost IP, and this is the port number of your Olema. So, you're going to need this, and then you will paste that into here. Again, once you have your own Olema credentials and import this URL, you click Save, and then you will have successfully imported that one as well. This import of the API client's login information is going to appear while you are creating the workflow. The first time you don't have those accounts, they won't be showing here either. Well, you can also create credentials here and then select one of the services. As you can see, there are a lot of services like Microsoft Azure, OpenAPI, and Cloud API. There are a lot of services here you can search for your AI applications and any API that uses or is already integrated with n8n. Another one that I will usually use if we are using an open source AI model is OpenRouter. OpenRouter is another good provider that runs and provides free language models and vision language models through their service. So here, what you need to do is provide the API keys, which you can get by going to the OpenRouter website. You can Google it, search for the OpenRouter website, and use the key in your account once you sign in. So you can right-click on the top here, go to your profile, and get the key from here. I got my n8n local and my Visual Studio Code with another API key for programming stuff. So once you have that API key, paste that string of API key here, click Save again, and you're ready to use it. The first thing is that here we got the workflow. As I mentioned, we are treating the ComfyUI workflow as one of the features of our whole system. So, like in this example here, I am using a chat message and then I connect an AI agent. First, we are going to use the AI agents to create text prompts for us. Then, we will use the first feature that I define in ComfyUI to generate an image. Through that image, we will convert the base 64 string to files. As you guys know, if you've played around with the ComfyUI API before, you will see the output of the data in the executions of the API side in ComfyUI. You will get these base 64 strings, which are the encoding of an image. So, we convert that into files and save those files in your local file storage. Once we have that, we will use another ComfyUI image to convert videos into Node. We are going to receive the JSON data, which is the output of the videos right here, and the workflow JSON files on top here, which is the workflow for creating using WAN 2.1 that I'm using right now for the image to video workflow. So in here, I will just use n8n in a very simple way. Therefore, I am doing an autosave of this video output in my video combine output result, which I have. As you can see here, we got the VHS video combined. Note that information here. And then I put save output to true. This is one way of saving our image, or in this case, our video. So save that video in our ComfyUI output folder. Now, this is just one of the examples of a very simple, basic way of using n8n to use it as a whole system. Of course, you will be able to create not only just one video clip like this, but multiple video clips. Imagine you have a whole long story of content. You can generate different text prompts and use those text prompts to ask the AI agents to generate image prompts. And then, using those image prompts, generate an image in the first text-to-image feature in this ComfyUI node. Then, we pass that image to the image-to-video processing. And of course, at last in here, you can still expand this workflow to other features, such as uploading that to your Google Drive, because it's really easy. Right here in n8n, the UI, the interface, is very user-friendly. You can just type Google and you've got Google Drive. Here you can save your videos and you can also upload to YouTube. You can do that as well. In here, you can say upload a video like this feature, and you can put your YouTube login credentials in detail and upload the video here. But of course, this is just a 5-second video clip that we are generating using the image to video, which is not enough for YouTube videos. So we will be showing this as just one of the examples of how we can do it in a basic way in this tutorial. Now we will keep developing a larger workflow where, for example, we will create a whole story at the front, and then we'll pass on to each line of the script, creating an image and creating the video with this feature. So how do you enable the ComfyUI feature in n8n? Now here's another thing. Because this ComfyUI node does not come by default with n8n, just like ComfyUI, n8n has a lot of different nodes. That means you got many extensions of features. So click on your settings and you will go to your community nodes. Once you click that community nodes, you can install the custom nodes like ComfyUI. But then one thing, the good thing, is that n8n, the company, is so organized with their stuff. Everything is listed and well documented for almost all of their stuff and their community nodes. You can click this browse button and it will redirect you to the npm website. This is the Node.js website for different packages of stuff. They have the n8n community nodes package, which is the special tag for n8n usage. Now, as you can see, I have also installed the n8n nodes for MCP. If you want to play around with MCP, this is another way of using n8n to do that. Otherwise, you can search for ComfyUI here. So, once you type ComfyUI and click search, it will show you the ComfyUI available nodes in n8n to connect with ComfyUI. The first two custom nodes, or the community nodes in n8n we need, are the n8n nodes ComfyUI, and the second one is the n8n node ComfyUI image to video. These two are the ones I am using in the showcase in the tutorial here. So as you can see here, we got the MCP that I just mentioned, also the image to videos community node, and also the ComfyUI node by default is the three that we will be playing around with. In this case, we are just using the ComfyUI nodes in my examples here. So you can also click around and check what they have in those community nodes. Most things are very well documented here, as you can see what kind of output and input data fields you can use and work around with in your workflow in n8n. So, all you need to do to install nodes is just like this one. We have the name you can copy from the title here. Basically, this one is like the image to videos. We can click the install button here. All we need is the package name of the npm, which in this case we are using the image to videos. We just copy the title and paste it here. That's good enough. And just click. I understand the risk of this code and just click install. And because I have already downloaded the image to videos community nodes, I don't need to reinstall that again. And if you want to update the node, you will have a prompt every time you boot up n8n. It will show you that there are available versions and new versions to update for this specific node. But in this case, right here at this moment, I don't have any versions that need updating yet. So, back to the overview of the workflow. Now it's really easy to do so after your first chat message. This is how we get started with the whole workflow, triggering these AI automations to do. We can start by using chat messages, or we can start by taking action in the app. So for example, like, you got new stuff, you have input in your Google Sheet, and through that Google Sheet, it will be able to update a row in the sheet or append a row in the sheet, etc., or get rows in the sheet to retrieve all the information and pass that to the AI agent, each row to process information. But in this case, I just want to start from the basics. So here we have a chat message received, which appears below here in this UI. So on the chatbot here, let's say I want to create something, a very short video clip. Then what we are going to do is, let's say, create an image of a woman and a man dancing on the beach. So I'm not typing really long, detailed text prompts here. All I did was just use the basic inquiry of asking the AI agents to go through my using this prompt and the language models to create my ComfyUI image text prompt. So once here, I click this. For example, in here, I have my executions. Say I test this one, and it will go to the AI agents. And as you can see in the AI agents, it says to connect the chat trigger to these AI agents. So in the AI agents, I have passed my system prompt, saying that you are an art director inspired to create a Flux image text prompt. So I give the structure of the text prompts, what I need in the text prompt, as well as some information or some structures that I need for subjects, scenes, and backgrounds. These are the three most basic elements that I need for creating image text prompts. Then, once I have that, I can say the next step after we receive those messages, we are going to use the ComfyUI nodes here. I am using the ComfyUI image generation node here, which I saved the output format to PNG, and this is receiving the data from the workflow JSON output. So the ComfyUI workflow that I have, which is this one, this very simple workflow, is just a text-to-image where we will be inputting those texts in my AI agents. The AI agents, through these language models and the OpenRouter chat models here, will receive the response of the text prompt creations from the language models, which in this case will be passed into our JSON output here. In this workflow, we are going to pass the JSON output of the previous one, which is the language model's output, to the text input of what we have. So basically, that text quote area is basically what you have in the text encoder text prompt. It is kind of complicated the first time when you see all this connection and what is going on with those integrations. So I suggest if you are not familiar with that, you can also execute the previous node to try that out, and it will have all the previews of how that looks. So just like in these examples, we have this very simple inquiry text. Let's click enter, and as you can see, this chat received a message. The AI agent is loading and working on its job right here. Then we are going to wait for this to finish, and we will see what that looks like. So we got the AI agents to complete the task. It returned this text result as the response. So, in this response, we are going to move to the next steps, which is going to the ComfyUI text-to-image generations. As you can see, it's loading right now in ComfyUI, and I can show you that you have to, of course, turn on your ComfyUI command prompts window and let it stay still here. And as you can see at the back end of the ComfyUI command prompts window, it is loading the image generations. It's using the Flux models, as you can see right here. So, all this is running backend and using ComfyUI as one of the tools, just like other language models that you see in OpenRouter or AI agents, etc. So in ComfyUI, we finished this first step of inquiry, and you can double-click this. You will see that we are using the AI agent's output message and passing this into our text prompts for image generation. We are going to receive the output here. So the left part here is input, the middle is the configuration of the node, and the right part is the output of what you have in this node. So you can inquire the JSON files that are returned as the generate result. So what I have just mentioned is that the data, and this long length of string here, is the base 64 string, which when you copy and paste this and convert it into a PNG is actually the image. But of course, you can view the image as raw binary as well as visually. So, for the binary, you can click the view result and you will see this visualization of what it looks like. We have this man and a woman dancing on the beach, this image as an example. We go back there and it will have a check mark. Since we tested successfully, we can convert the files moving from the base string using that data and then convert them as images. So let's run this again. We are very fast converting this into an image, and then we save that file successfully as well. And then the last step is the image to video conversion coming here. Since we already have the generated image in the previous steps, as you can see from the input panel, we have the image as the input data. We should update the input image from here. It shows the string of the base 64, which is the one that we need, and we can test one more time. It will be executing this workflow. And this workflow is also, we have that example showing here that I have run in the image to video. And this time, I'm using the VACE vase from WAN 2.1. I'm using the one image as a reference, using that act as the image to video way of generation. Because the vase, combined with the CosVid LoRa as we have talked about before, is generating way faster processing time. So as you can see here, we have the generations running in the ComfyUI backend already. And this running process is not running what we have on top of here. I can close this workflow and it doesn't interrupt what I have generating in the backend here, because I have those workflows already attached in my n8n workflow JSON here, already saved that JSON file here to process. So the whole thing is going to use ComfyUI as a tool to do their video generation and link it up with different AI models. So think about that. ComfyUI is not the whole thing that you have. Think big. I know someone might dislike this, but it's the truth. We got the generate time of the videos, 1 minute 39 seconds, and that is 81 frames. So we got the generated videos here. Although this is not a whole complete workflow as a whole system using n8n here, there's a lot more that can be going on, such as saving that and uploading to YouTube, saving it in your Google Drive. Anything you can imagine is happening here. There are a lot more features going on using AI agents, OpenAI, or base with your language models as well. And for using the language models, you have AI agents, and then you click the chat models here. You will have all kinds of language model providers and everything you can imagine here. And if you like to run offline locally, then Allama Chat is right here, just as I have shown, as well as Azure, OpenAI, DeepSeek, and so on. Any popular AI model providers are showing here. So far, this is what I want to show in a basic way of using n8n. And I want to show this because this is, kind of a good AI automation. And if you go to Google Trends and search AI automations, you can see that AI automations are trending upward on Google Trends. This is happening in almost every industry that is using the internet. I think it's good to introduce, or it's a good time we should be talking more in depth about AI rather than just, generating an image, how to make a video. Those are very small pictures as I see. If you are just using just that one specific model in the Comfy UI or, making videos manually, that is going to be killing your time. Another way that you can think of it is making a good, comfy UI workflow, and then that workflow is able to automate and scale, scaling up the workload of the task. And then you can do a bunch of automations with that workflow. Then that workflow will be more meaningful rather than you just clicking on the comfy UI and, dragging and dropping all these custom nodes and doing the whole day like this. That is it for this video. And I hope this is going to inspire you guys to start using AI automations. Either like n8n or not, it is your own opinion, but AI automation is the trend happening right now in this world. So, I will see you guys in the next one. Have a nice day.